Mariko Tamaki and Victor Bogdanovic continue their action-packed murder mystery as Roland Worth begins his explosive rampage through Gotham towards Batman and Bruce Wayne, as the Dark Knight and the Huntress try and determine what the source of this parasite infecting people all over the city is. Mariko Tamaki continues her wonderful murder mystery by upping the action a little this issue as Batman must balance dodging Mr. Worth's wrath, the fact that Bruce Wayne is now a wanted man for escaping custody, and the strange parasite that is going around town killing people. Tamaki makes balancing these three stories look easy and gives us a great chunk of detective work this issue thanks to Batman and Huntress narrowing down who the parasite is, pointing all of the fingers at the mayor's office. I really enjoyed the work she put into Mr. Worth as well this issue. He's not just some big heavy hitter for Batman to fight instead of someone like Bane or Clayface. There is a great reasoning behind his anger and violence, and getting to see him turn from this hulking behemoth threat into a crying mess upon seeing his dead daughter is heartbreaking, and it further solidifies his hatred for Batman, who he thinks did this to his daughter, not realizing that Lady Clayface is just mimicking her appearance. Mariko also ties Worth's plot into Hue's parasite plot seamlessly as well, bringing everything together in one cohesive plotline, which I really appreciate. Victor Bogdanovic continues his just brilliant looking artwork, stretching his action muscles here with the huge Mr. Worth just dwarfing everyone he is around, and I like his comically large hand cannons and rocket launchers that only he would be able to wield. The way he also draws Gotham City as well, just steeped in this blood red light, looks frightening and fantastic. Detective Comics issue 1038 was another fantastic continuation of Mariko Tamaki's murder mystery, pooling all our little arcs into one big action-packed plot in an organic way as we get ready for an explosive finale. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. Detective Comics issue 1038 finds Batman confronted by Mr. Worth, who demands to know why the masked man was at his daughter's crime scene. Batman says that Bruce Wayne didn't kill Sarah, and neither did he. Roland refuses to believe the coward hiding behind a mask, demanding the hero give him Wayne. Roland smashes Batman in the face, firing his rocket launcher at the hero, who dodges the explosion. Batman knows few in Gotham want to fall on Worth's bad side, and now he's Worth's true enemy, and what stands between him and justice. Lady Clayface meanwhile finds herself still in the form of Sarah Worth, wondering where she is as she awakens in the Batcave. Batman thinks that Lady Clayface is suffering some type of trauma, maybe brought on by the chemicals released at A-Day, and she might be the only one who can testify to Wayne's innocence. Huntress meanwhile heads to secure Lady Clayface in the cave, unhappy with Batman's orders as she hears the streets rumbling below her, knowing something bad is happening, which is why Batman isn't answering her on the comms. Lady Clayface meanwhile knows that she's got to get out of there since it's not safe as Batman fights Roland, causing him to fire his rocket into the ceiling of the sewer, blowing up the street above near Huntress. Worth grabs Batman by the neck, slamming him hard into the wall and telling him that the sewer will be his final resting place. Huntress saves a woman from the hole that Worth blew into the road as Batman tells Roland he can't think that he's fighting for Sarah or for justice. Roland refuses to have the hero lecture him about justice, wanting to tell Batman what justice is. Suddenly he sees Sarah through the smoke as Lady Clayface arrives. Worth rushes to his supposed daughter as Batman knows that whatever he thinks of the man, it's hard not to feel the strike of someone's heart breaking. Batman grapples Worth's hand, pulling him away as the man tries to grab his daughter, but Lady Clayface soon loses her shape and falls into a puddle of muddy clay. Roland demands to know what the hero has done with his daughter as Batman knows the rage loss leaves behind ignites the desire for revenge. Worth is later arrested as Mayor Nakano learns that Batman brought him to the station, but the man wasn't resisting, just walking into the station in cuffs, and was charged with the destruction of property thanks to footage of Worth bombing a police station. Nakano's assistant says that the station was all empty for reasons no one can explain. Chris asks where Hue Vile is, learning he went home as he asked for Chief Hubbard to come back into his office. The assistant soon gets a phone call, telling Chris that Roland has been released. Across town, Bruce is taken to Helena's apartment, noting how it's no Wayne Manor, but it will do. Bruce says that Worth won't stop until he sees Bruce Wayne and Batman dead, and Helena wonders if he has connections with some other victims, but Bruce doesn't think so since Neil Betterman's death is biological in nature, and if this was a virus, it would spread beyond the current numbers, so it's more likely something is attacking people individually. Helena knows that they are looking for a host, knowing all of the victims knew one another and they all worked for the mayor. Bruce knows that Sarah's crime scene was flooded with concrete the day after, so whoever did that needed access to city contracts, so it would have been Neil or someone else. Helena thinks it's too bad that Bruce busted out of jail since he could have just gone to Nakano's office to eyeball some employees as Bruce. Barbara contacts them asking if they are watching the news since Roland Worth is holding a press conference. On the news, the man proclaims that both Bruce Wayne and the Batman are dead to him as the Penguin watches, finding that rather interesting, thinking he must return Mr. Worth's phone call. Helena asks what Bruce's plan is, so Bruce says that he is wanted and Batman is on Worth's kill list, so they'll wait until dark, and until then they need to look into recent civic hires and who has the reins in Nakano's office, since it should be someone new to the office. Worth meanwhile is met by Hue outside his press conference, who says that he's not there representing the mayor, since he wants to help Roland with Bruce. The big man pushes Hue into his car, getting his driver to head off as he pulls out his hand cannon, demanding Hue talk to him. Hue says that he wants what they all want, and he is a huge fan of a man of great power who wants to use their force to exercise their strength. He says that he sees Roland's potential in his plans and he produces results that Hue values. Roland wonders what those results would be, so Hue says it's the violence and chaos and revenge. He hopes that they can move forward with their partnership, calling up Deb Donovan to set up an interview between her and the mayor, telling her to come by the office at 11 PM at night. Later that night, Deb arrives at the office, confused at the lateness of the meeting. Hue meets with her, appreciating her for coming by so late, as he attacks her with a fire extinguisher, knocking her out. Later on, Bruce gets a text from Deb asking for help, which he knows is a very obvious trap, but not of Worth's doing, and it's a lot more subtle than him. Batman and Huntress track Deb's phone to the tunnels, knowing whomever has her wants to be found there. The heroes head down into the darkness, heading into the tunnels where Huntress knows that Batman is talking to himself again in his head. Worth meanwhile is called by Hue, who says that everything is set as Batman and Huntress find Deb and the bombs she is strapped to, all of which are counting down as Huntress tries to take out as many as she can with her crossbow, but the timer still continues to tick down. Batman learns from Deb that something was in the office as the countdown ends, blowing up the entire underground tunnels as Worth and Hue watch on.